Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This vlog is going to cover quite a few different things, but at the start I'm going to be showing you my whole pottery process. Now this was the first batch of ceramics, mainly mugs, that I was going to be making to give to my new kiln person. She's called Lino, she's absolutely wonderful, and I'm now using her for all of my firings, and it's really convenient because I just have to drive over with my bisque and my glaze ceramics, and she takes care of all of it for me. So it's honestly such a good solution, whilst I kind of like save up for having a kiln at maybe some point in the near future, I like to hope. So this is me kind of throwing some mug bodies on the wheel. I was having a bit of a rough day. There was quite a few failed attempts, but luckily we can obviously recycle all of the failed throwing back into new clay. I did get a few sort of like bodies that I was proud of. And then this is a vase that I wanted to do as well. But yeah, the main focus was the mugs, and I did also have a custom order for 2 blue mugs, so this was also for that. I made a little olive dish because that was really popular at Bradford Harvest Festival, and it sold like straight away, so I was like, oh, I need to make some more. I'm gonna definitely do some more of those in a larger batch. I did a little tiny plate as well, and then moved back on to doing another mug. So all of this footage was recorded in sort of November, December 2025. I'm only just getting around to editing it now in April 2026, which is kind of crazy. So my apologies about the severe delay in getting videos out and stuff. Life has been very chaotic, as I kind of mentioned last video. But yeah, I'm trying to get back on top of it. So yeah, here's all of those things that I just threw: various mug bases, olive little bowl, and of course the little tiny plate and the vase. And this is me just like pricing things up, weighing them, measuring them for my website so that I can list everything on there. I will say now, as of April, when I'm currently kind of editing and recording this, I am working towards a shop update, so I will hopefully be sharing details about that soon. So just be like loads and loads of new ceramics, and kind of like one-off pieces as well that I've done. But this is me the next day after throwing all those pieces and pulling the handles. This process is a little bit sussy if you're not a ceramicist, but basically you have like one big lump of clay and you're pulling handles down with loads of water, and you're trying to get like really even kind of like lengths of clay basically. And what you can do as well is like snip off any imperfections, pop them back into your recycling bucket. But this is me just kind of like going through and making plenty of handles before I started trimming, so that I could add these onto the mugs that I'd made the previous day. Some people do actually make their handles like the same day that they're throwing, and let them kind of like go leather hard overnight. I need to try this actually. I've never tried it before, but usually I'll pull the handles on the same day that I'm trimming, which does sometimes lead to kind of like the handles are warping a little bit, so I might try a new method at some point. I'm not entirely like happy with like my technique of pulling handles, so this is definitely something I need to improve. But I kind of like to prefer sort of like practicing by being hands-on and like trying it out myself. I'm not very good at like following kind of tutorials about how to do it. I just like to kind of trial and error. Anyway, that's always been the way that I've learned best, so I guess that's going to be the same thing with me and ceramics for sure. So yeah, there was a little batch of handles I was going to pull, and then I had to move on to trimming all of those pieces that I'd thrown the day before, as they were leather hard at this stage. And at this point it's kind of about smoothing any inconsistencies out, as well as adding the foot on the bottom, and I like to initial my pieces as well. I think eventually I'm going to get the maker's mark. Do let me know in the comments if you have any ideas about what my maker's mark should be. I think the really obvious thing would be to do some kind of mushroom related thing. I don't know, I could maybe incorporate my initials into it, something like that. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. So I was trimming, of course, and adding the handle out of shot. I obviously didn't film this very well for you guys, but you can kind of see the satisfying trimming process at least. I love trimming because of the kind of like ribbons that come off and the curling that sort of happens. I'm like completely out of shot. I do apologize about this, but basically I was adding the handles on with scoring and slipping. And then you sort of like roll out a little coil of clay just to kind of like wrap around the handle, just to make sure it's like really firmly attached onto the base. I think for that one, oh yeah, it looks like I tried out rolling a handle instead of using one of the pulled ones, just to give it a go. I then moved on to trimming my olive bowl. I definitely need to make more of these. I keep saying that to myself. These are kind of slightly difficult to trim just because of the bit in the middle being slightly more raised. But anyway, you just have to kind of put a few more lumps of clay to secure it on. And then I trimmed the mini vase as well, which I was really happy with. Again, you have to kind of like really support the base because it can be quite wobbly. So here's all of the pieces that are trimmed and have handles added to them. I was really happy with how similar these two were looking. These two were like slightly different, but that's the kind of different handle style. That one's a bit of a chunkier one. But yeah, definitely to practice my mugs. And I was pretty happy with the vase and the mini plate and the olive bowl. That's definitely gonna be one of the more intricate designs adding to that one, because you have to like hand draw all of the olives on. And then this was me doing some collage work for the Great Leeds Fungi exhibition 2026, which happened in February. I've just thrown all of these mug bodies. They're kind of like vaguely similar. I weighed out all the clay, so they should be relatively uniform, but they're a little bit wonky. So yeah, I'll be letting these dry overnight, trim them tomorrow, and add the handles. And here they are trimmed. I was really happy with how similar they were looking as a batch. So I've packed everything up to head over to Nina, who's going to be doing my firings for me in her kiln, which is awesome. I'm very nervous though. I packed them up really well with loads of bubble wrap. So fingers crossed everything survives the car journey and survives the firing. But yeah, very excited to have found this person who very kindly taken on my work, and yeah, hopefully it should be awesome. I then went back to my university to do a talk about freelancing. I didn't record very much, but it was really fun, and I was so happy to be invited back. And here's everything back from the bisque firing, and there's me unloading it onto my shelves and just organising it, ready to be glazed very soon. So here's all the mugs I got glazed today. These are going to be the kind of like indigo float sort of blue one that I use. These two are custom ones, and this is the Tenmoku, and then finally the lustrous jade, also with the little mini bud pot as well. So yeah, I'm going to be super excited to see how these turn out after they have their glaze firing. So whilst everything was firing, I also glazed my lobster plate and my olive sort of bowl, and I was super excited to be featured in the Ladybug zine Textiles for Change in the autumn of 2025, and this is just a wonderful zine documenting some of the people kind of working with protest in their textile work. And there's my banner that I submitted. It was one of the ones that I did during my degree about kind of like protesting about the importance of mushrooms, so it's super cool to kind of receive this in the post and to see everyone's work, which was really awesome. Thank you so much to the people at Ladybug Zine for making this possible. And then my stuff was ready from the kiln, so I went to go pick it up and unpack it when I got back to my studio, and I was so pleased with how everything turned out. It was quite a small batch of ceramics. I'm definitely going to be sort of like continuing to make more mugs. These mugs were for, 2 of them were for a commission, and the rest of them were going to be going to a cafe nearby, who were going to be stocking some of my mugs on their retail shelves just in time for Christmas. So that's pretty cool. But the coolest thing for me about getting these out the kiln was that the 10 mercury glaze, the brown glaze, was way more speckly than it has been in previous firings. And here they are, all close up and gorgeous. So these are two custom mugs that I'm going to package up now, ready to be collected by the person who ordered them. And these are actually going to be stocked in a cafe where I'm doing a workshop soon, so I'm going to package these up. But yeah, I'm really happy with how they've all come out, and hopefully I can get some of these sold just before Christmas. Okay, I've got everything packed up for the lino printing workshop tomorrow. I've also got my ceramics in the bottom here, which are going to be stocked in the shop. But yes, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. The evening of my workshop then arrived. So this was a lino printing workshop hosted at Onward Brews in Guiseley, which is a wonderful cafe. Really recommend it if you are nearby. And we were lino printing Christmas cards, as it was kind of the start of December at the time of this video. And yeah, everyone had some really gorgeous designs. I was really impressed with everyone's work, and it was just such a lovely vibe, kind of sitting around drinking coffee, having some little pastries and talking about festive stuff. So yeah, really happy with how it went, and I'm definitely going to be doing more workshops similar to this in the future, hopefully in other cafes. And here's some pictures of my mugs on the retail shelves. I think they have all gone now, so I'm going to be restocking with them soon. And then I went to go see my banner at the Z Open, which took place at the Bradford Industrial Museum, and it was basically an exhibition of artists who are all under 25 years old in the kind of Bradford district. So it was really awesome to kind of go to the afternoon opening and see everyone's work, and also hear about who won all the prizes. I didn't win anything, unfortunately, but I picked up this lovely bookmark which was signed by Isabel Booth, who is someone I studied with on my illustration course. She's a really awesome artist, so go check her out if you can. And then me and my parents, who came along with me, went to go have a look around the museum because we'd actually never visited, despite having lived in Yorkshire for the majority of my life. So it was really nice to kind of go and see all of the old textile stuff. And then we went and saw the blacksmith, who was an absolutely wonderful volunteer working in the blacksmiths, and he made me, I don't know what to call it. It was kind of like a metal sort of like garden stick, I want to call it. I don't really know. Anyway, he set about making it, and he sort of like talked us through the whole process of how it works and how you like shape different things, and I found it really fascinating. As someone who's trying to kind of learn ceramics more, just to see how other people make things, so it's really cool. And sorry, my camera keeps like flashing brightness and stuff. It was really hard to film this behind the protective barrier, but I hope you still get a good sense of how it was being done. And he asked what initials he wanted on it, so I asked for K and L because me and my partner, and I thought it'd be really cute as like a little souvenir of the day. Here it is. It was really hot still, so we put it in here. And then I saw my banner at a local cafe. This is up in Giddy Arts in Saltaire, and I saw my little friend Chappie the cat and said hello. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.